Collingswood, New Jersey is a town with friendly faces, great food, and charming businesses. But as much as this tiny town seems idyllic, there are enemies hidden in the shadows. Invasive species hide in the nooks and crannies where we seldom look. They come from exotic places all over the world to parasite and dismantle the balance of the ecosystems they have plagued. But for the purpose of this documentary, we're going to be focusing on red lanternflies, English ivy, and snakeheads.
So, lanternflies and English ivy are both considered invasive species. They're non-native to North America. Lanternflies are originally from Asia. They actually, I was surprised to learn that they've kind of been on our radar here in New Jersey for the last year or so, but they were introduced to Pennsylvania in 2014.
As if invasive bugs aren't enough, we have intrusive plants taking residence in North America's forests and gardens. To get a closer look at these invasive species, we look at the cleanup and invasive species removal at Sadler's Woods.
We are working today to do a lot of trail restoration and habitat restoration, namely pulling out invasive species. English ivy is one that we work especially hard to take out because, as you can see, it grows up the trees. Over time it can degrade and work against the tree and its growth. It also changes the composition of the soil, so it's very important to get non-native invasive species like English ivy out of the woods.
The effect of any type of invasive species in an environment is that it will cause the native species to start to decline. Snakehead is one of those types of populations, and so it causes a lot of the fish that people use for either sport or food to start to decline. Even though this isn't edible fish, it's probably not quite as palatable as some of the regular species that people enjoy catching and eating.
So, it is pretty evident that we have an invasive species issue. What are some solutions that we can do to try to fix our mistakes?
The lanternflies, if you see them, kill them. Right now they're kind of on the decline in terms of the live form, but you may see their egg sacs. They look basically like a smear of concrete on trees, and scrape off the eggs, put them in a bag, put some hand sanitizer or alcohol in there, and that should take care of them. But at this point everyone is kind of familiar with them, and it's okay to kill as many of them as you can.
People don't realize that the #1 cause of species extinction is actually invasive species, and that's because of habitat loss. So what can we do about this giant problem, right? Making good choices in our gardens, because the seeds carry over. So if you're planting a garden, I encourage you to look at native plants for your gardens.
A lot of it could involve input from the community if there are things, and I know Newton Lake has had events like this before, like fishing rodeos where there's a competition to fish these species out for sport. That can be really helpful to get the community involved.
Trying to solve the invasive species issue has brought together a community of people from all different backgrounds focused on one goal. No matter how persistent the invasive species are, there are always those who are willing to fight back to preserve the natural integrity of our system.